So what I want for my Death Guard army is a huge mass of Plague Marines, loads and loads of infantry, and then loads of Terminators as well. So I have prepared my 49, it's 7 times 7 because Nurgle, you know. 7 times 7, 49 Plague Marines here. Let's check it again, and it's actually Plague Marines. I mean, there's technically an Icon Bearer in here, but it's a unit that I've probably, I don't know. Will I ever use that character? I don't know. Let's just say it's a Plague Marine as well. So I have 49 of them. Some of them need some work before I can paint them. These need bases. 3 of them need bases. And 1, 2, 3... 3 of them still need structure stuff on their base, sand and slate. And 4 of them I started painting before, over a year ago. So with these, do some bases, then I will paint these guys. I will probably add the magnets first. On my last 3 models, I did the magnets on the base last, and then I glued some super glue on the base edge, and I ripped the paint off, and it was awful, and I don't want to do that again, so I will do the base, the magnet before I do everything else. So if I mess up, then I can just scratch it off. And yeah, then I will probably then dry brushing all of them from the top down. I could do it with an airbrush, but I think that it looks better when it's a little bit more patchy with the. It's a zenithal highlight. It's basically you emulate to make it look like the light is coming from above. You dry brush it with a lighter color from above, and then you hit mostly the head and the shoulders, and a little bit you scrape it along the side a little bit. And you can do that with an airbrush as well. That gives you a smooth transition. But I'm playing Death Guard, so smooth is not always the stuff I want here. So I'm fine with it being a little bit more patchy, and it looks like dirt is running down. And yeah, I like that effect. And yeah, most of these are converted. Some of them are normal. I've also used some of the Blight King's kits, so some of them have Blight King's shields or stuff like that on them, flails, a lot of melter guns, plasma guns, and I will do a special paint job on one of them. So one of them looks almost like a Dark Souls boss, this guy. This guy looks like a boss from Dark Souls, so this guy will get a really worn down gold finish, some verdigris and stuff like that on it as well. But the others, yeah, normal paint job. So I use a little bit of a strange technique on these. It's 49 of them. So I will just dry brush them all top down, give it like a little bit of a zenithal highlight with ochre and camo, I think it is, or Underhive Ash, one of these two. I think I'll use Underhive Ash. And that looks like the light is coming from above, but makes the armor a little bit more patchy and a little bit more dirty. And that's an effect I like. Then on the next step, I will use lead belcher and paint all the metal trims and all the metal parts and gun barrels and stuff like that on them. And that really makes a dent into the time the paint job takes, but also really your motivation levels are going down if you do 49 miniatures and just do one step. But maybe I can get through it. If I can't, I will set them aside and just take a small batch, like 5 or 3 of them, or even 1 of them if I fancy that. So and then finish that one, and then if I have a lot of motivation again, then I will go back in with another metal color, paint all of them with that color, and I do that on and on until my motivation sinks, and then I do the next stuff. I finish some more models. That's just how I do it. It's a little bit weird, but yeah, I can't forget that. I have to magnetize them as well. Yeah, all right, let's start. I use my tried and true method here of magnetizing them. So I put the magnet down, then I just put a rim of super glue around it, sprinkle some baking soda on top, and that makes it cure instantly. And then after that, I will put a little bit super glue on the rest of the baking soda that hardens up, and I let it dry. And
then, because I don't like the color of the magnets on the bottom, I painted black because that's how weird I am. I paint the bottom of my miniatures nobody will ever see apart from me. Yeah, there you go.
Next step is to dry brush with Underhive Ash, top down dry brush, zenithal dry brush, whatever you want to call it. Alright, let's get started. Okay, I'm dry brushing those guys, so I have a really cheap makeup brush and I use Underhive Ash. And I will make that brush a little bit wet and then put it in the Underhive Ash, brush out most of the paint as you do dry brushing. And then I will do a top-down zenithal dry brush. There's a hair on my brush. Alright, so I will concentrate on the top of the model and then I will just dry brush down a little bit so like the details are accentuated. And many of the parts I don't have to really focus on. For example, this stuff on the back, only the backpack is gonna be green in the end. So this stuff is all gonna be metal or a different color. And then I do this on the armor panels, a little bit on the legs. And then that's it. This one has by the way, this one has a converted gun from the Grey Knights. I don't remember what gun that was. Silencer or something. And I used that to build a Death Guard weapon because it has 3 barrels, so that's just fitting.
For Grandfather Nurgle.
Always important while you paint to show your devotion to your favorite Chaos God, which should be Nurgle in my opinion. Yeah. And I kept doing that for a while, painting. It's a pretty quick step, so it didn't take too long. It's a really cool step because it breaks off those big armor panels because it's Death Guard. They are dirty. They need some little dirt encrusted on their armor panels. So Death Guard used to use ceramide, only the blank ceramide, because why would you ornament your stuff? But mine, they basically have the ceramide, but the ceramide has already grown over with some residue or lichen or fungus or something like that. So it's already a little bit greener than the normal ceramide would be. And you can see that because the dirt is running down as well. Yeah, that's just the idea behind my color scheme. And then they have some metal trim, and that's rusted as well. And yeah, I really like that aesthetic of them, that the dirt is running down, the verdigris of the brass parts is running down. And it pains me to say it, but I kind of have a pretty clean... that's the wrong word to use. That hurts. A really clean Death Guard painting scheme in the sense of that I have strict stuff I do, rust running down, and there's pus and gore and everything, so it's not clean at all, actually. But I don't really like put dirt on random parts of the model or stuff like that. That is basically the start of the painting step is pretty messy, and that leaves a little bit of a messiness for the later painting steps underneath as well. And then the last step is putting all of the gore and Nurgle's rot and everything, because the problem with Nurgle's rot and blood for the blood cutters, you cannot really do that before washes. If you wash over them, it mats them down, so that has to be the last step. And that was the problem when I did battle ready miniatures. The battle ready miniatures couldn't have all of those really nice elements, the gore and dry still wet blood and stuff like that on them, because if you do the next step and put the next wash on it, you would just destroy that. And that's what the finished product will look like. Those are some of my recently painted Death Shroud Terminators. And it's really kind of a trust the process kind of painting scheme. So it's just step by step, and they just look cool in the end, in my opinion. And you can see that rust running down, and it's pretty messy on those metal parts and brass parts. But clearly define what paint goes where. There you go. Yeah, but why would you do that on 49 miniatures, you ask? I don't know. I just do a big batch so I can do straightforward one paint at once. And if I lose motivation, I sometimes paint a smaller batch, or I just look at the finished model that I made before and I think, oh, that's what they could look like if I carry on doing this. All right, then.
Yeah, so 49 miniatures at once. Why am I doing this? Still don't know. But I continued on a little bit with the lead belcher step. I will show you that next time. But let's see how far I can get in the next week. Painting them. I have a little bit of a special miniature planned as well, as I told you in the beginning. This is the kind of inspired by Dark Souls guy, but that will be an extra video as well. And yeah, there's a lot to do, but in the end I will have a marching big legion of Death Guard, so it's worth the effort, isn't it? And next week I will see you and we'll do some more. Goodbye.